Hello stamping friends, it's Angie here with Too Cool Stamping. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I would love to be your demonstrator if you do not already have one. I am so excited we're here again for our live class, and I don't know about you, but I am ready for spring big time. And there is nothing more spring-like to me than creating with butterflies. I love butterflies, and I am so excited to share our brand new early release, the Butterfly Bouquet. And this collection has a couple of different products in here, 4 different things. We start out with the Butterfly Brilliance Cling Stamp Set. I'm going to show it to you when we flip the camera around, but we'll start out with the Butterfly Brilliance Cling Stamp Set and the Coordinating Brilliant Wings dies. Those are items that are going to be coming up in our new annual catalog that comes out on May 4th. It comes out a little bit earlier this year. So we're getting a sneak peek of one of those bundles, and it's just in time for spring. Now, the other 2 products that we're going to be sharing today are limited time. They're just exclusive to this promotion, and they coordinate with this bundle brilliantly. So one is the Butterfly Bijou paper, and then also the Natural Touch wood grain paper. And these are really, really fun, and especially I love the Bijou paper. It is so colorful and just really delightful is the word I like to think of. So, but those 2 products are limited time. I'll flip the camera around and show you exactly what I'm talking about. But I wanted to let you know that's what we're going to be working with today. I have some awesome projects to show you. I've been in a lot of swaps again. I don't know if you have noticed, but I do that quite a lot with my other fellow demonstrators. And wow, it's like every project that I see, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just fall in love with this whole collection more and more. So I hope you feel the same way. I know that many people are like, oh my gosh, another butterfly set. Do we need any more butterflies? Yes, you do. This one is just a little bit different. There's just one stamp. It has 6 different images, but there's just one stamp. It makes it just a little bit different. And the awesome part is one of the dies is, it coordinates directly with the butterflies. So it makes it really fun and fast to put together projects. There's a lot of different versatility, which you know I love, coordination. You can do a lot of different techniques and a lot of different layering. So much fun. It's a little bit different than any other butterfly set that you might have already or might have seen in the past. It's just a lot of fun. And I always tell people, it's kind of like flowers, you know? How many flower stamp sets do we have? We have a gazillion, but they're all just a little bit different and all a little bit unique and all very beautiful. So I know you're gonna love this week. Also, I wanted to tell you that yes, we will be having a live class kit like we typically do, but this week is a special one. If you remember our berry blessings from about a month ago, we did kind of a special 2-week presentation of that, and then I also offered a larger bonus where you could spend $100 and get not only the class kit for the 5 cards that I'm showing today, but also a tutorial for 25 different projects, and 5 of those will be the ones that we're working on today, and then you'll have 20 additional ideas to use with the Butterfly Bouquet Collection. So I'll talk to you more about that as we go along, but I wanted to let you know that that is something that we're doing for this week. I am going to be taking a few days off next week, so and that starts on Thursday. So I won't be here Thursday. You can catch me on Wednesday next week at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and I'll be doing some additional Butterfly Bouquet projects, and those will not have a kit involved. Those will just be some of our projects from the tutorial that is going along with the kit. So I want to just let you know about that. It's a little bit different, but hopefully a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with berry blessings and that extra bonus tutorial, and so I thought I would do it again with this one because there's just so many ideas. You guys are just gonna love it. Okay, let's get on with our projects. I am going to flip the camera around. I see there's several of you watching already. Thank you so much for joining me. Hang on, we're gonna do a little roller coaster ride. Let's get everything ready to go here. Turn on some lights. All right, let me show you this beautiful collection. Butterfly Bouquet is the name of it. And by the way, if you want to, you can go to my website, toocoolstamping.com, and you can print out a flyer so you can get all the information about this, because it's not in any catalog. This, like I mentioned before, is an early release exclusive collection. So you can go to toocoolstamping.com. There's a 2-page flyer here. The second page is going to show you the bundle that you can get. You can either get the stamps and the dies separately, or you can get the bundle for 10% off, and then the papers are also here available. If you want, you can get the whole collection. It's a convenient number, just one number at the bottom here. That is going to include that 10% off for the bundle. So be sure to go to toocoolstamping.com to print that information out. That's the only place you can get it. It is not yet in the catalog. So let's check out the products here. It's the Butterfly Brilliance bundle to start with. And like I mentioned earlier, it's just one stamp. Just one stamp, and it has all these beautiful, very colorable butterfly images. I love that they have kind of a realistic look, but still a little bit artsy as well. And then the dies that go with it, it's actually a 2-part die system. So these dies, this is just one, it's going to be one stamp set and one stamp and one set of dies. So it's not going to match up with that, obviously, because that's not the stamp, but I'll show you in a minute. But this is going to cut everything out so quickly and easily, so you'll have all kinds of elements for your cards right away. Then, as a bonus, you get these additional intricate cut dies, and they match all of the different sizes. So you can pair them up, you can layer them. You can see how they all match up with the different sizes here. So that is awesome. Plus you get a couple cute little solid butterflies. And also my favorite is these little textures. So this is just some cute little lined patterns, some bricks. We're going to use that on one of our cards today. And then also some dots. And I'll show you just quickly. This is not one of the cards from our class, but this is going to be in our project tutorial. It's actually a swap that I received from Amy's Story, and I wanted to show you that. I should have took it out of the wrapper. Let's do that real quick. So I can show you that texture, because we didn't use the texture on all the textures on our projects, but I wanted to show you. So here are the lines. So it's kind of reminiscent of how the stitching works with dies, but it's just going to make a really pretty lined pattern. You can see it up here too. And then she has a little bit of the dots right here just peeking out from underneath that butterfly. You can see a little bit more if I move it. But the little cutouts just really add some fun to that, to your layering. This is also the Natural Touch paper, which we're going to use on a couple of our projects, but I love it because it actually looks like wood, and it has the wood pattern, it has the wood texture, it feels like a piece of wood, but it is thin as regular paper. It's very, very thin. So I'll show you a little bit more about that, but I wanted to show you those textures because those are really, really cool. All right, so you get a lot of dies. You get a lot of layering possibilities here. And as I mentioned earlier, this bundle is an early release. It will be available in the upcoming annual catalog, which comes out on May 4th. All right, also in this collection, and this is my favorite, this is like the spotlight product for me, is the Butterfly Bijou paper. And I don't even have much left because I'm still waiting on my order to come in, because I've used all of my pre-order stuff. It's just been so much fun playing with it. But this is a 6x6 pack, and you're going to get 48 sheets. You'll have 6 different double-sided designs, 8 of each. So let's go through those really quickly. I love this colorful one. There's a lot of beautiful spring colors in this palette, and then some really pretty coordinating papers. This is the paper that I wanted to really show you, because this one coordinates with that die. Just like this die is going to coordinate with your stamp, this one coordinates with this paper so that you can cut out all of these colorful pre-printed butterflies. And that really makes making the cards really quick and fun as well. And then on the back, you have some pretty rainbow colored paper. We have some rainbow butterflies here and some more that looks like clouds to me, kind of. It's really pretty. Clouds at sunrise or sunset. Here's some more butterflies with some clouds in the background and a beautiful Calypso Coral dotted pattern. And these are the ones that I used a lot of. I only have this much left. I'm like, give me more, give me more. I should be getting my order in today. So I love the blues and greens here, and a pretty splotched background on the background. And then this one has some more butterflies that are kind of against a colorful background, and a really pretty Bermuda Bay pattern. So lots of choices for coordinating papers. And then the final piece, oh, I didn't bring it. Let me go get it real quick, hold on. There's nothing like dead air on a video, right? So this is, I had to show it to you though, because you have to see this paper. I showed it to you on the card, and it does have that beautiful wood grain pattern and texture. Can you see the texture? Hopefully the light is picking that up. But the texture is just like you're feeling wood. But look at this. It is flimsy. It's just like paper. It really is this, maybe just a hair thicker than regular designer series paper. But it makes it so easy to work with and gives you such a fun, natural look. And along with the butterflies, you could use this for all kinds of different projects. I see a lot of masculine possibilities with this particular paper. And you can even use the back, and the back is just kind of a really pretty light, a little bit more orange than the petal pink, kind of like a really light pumpkin color. So kind of a really pretty color. So of course this is going to be the spotlight color that you really, or spotlight side that you really want to work with. All right, so those are the products in our collection. Let's get on with the projects, as we have some really cool ones happening. Okay, so we're going to start out with a traditional, let me get this kind of in the camera a little bit more, a traditional size soft seafoam card base. It's going to be 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to fold that in half here. Then I'm going to add some of the beautiful Butterfly Bijou paper. And I'm going to start with this little strip. It's 4 by 1. And we'll add that along the bottom. Let's put it about right here. And it's just a hair too long. I can't stand that, so I'm going to have to cut that off. We'll just cut that flush. Then we have another piece here. This is a 1.5 by 5.5. I did this card as a swap card, and that's why I am out of a lot of this paper. But I can't wait to get some more in today. All right, there is our card base. Now we're going to add, I have an oval here from it's die cut with the stitched shapes framelits or dies. And I also have a scallop here in basic black. That's with the layering ovals. And we'll just add this quickly. And add that right onto our card front. All right, now let me show you really quickly a couple of tips when you're working with this particular stamp. So here's the stamp. It is, like I mentioned, one great big stamp. I've heard that some people have actually cut them apart, which is definitely something that you can do. I'm not going to. I like that it's all together. I think it's kind of unique, and you can always die cut these apart. But some people have said, I'm going to buy a second one so that I can cut it apart, so I can have one together and one separate. That's certainly something that you could do, and it would give you a lot more possibilities for sure. Now for something this big, there's a couple of ways that you can stamp it. Depending on what your project is going to call for, I like to use the Stamparatus, because if I want to have a whole bunch of these butterflies cut out so I can color them and add them to cards. So I'm just going to ink that up with Memento ink, and then I can stamp that on there. Sometimes if you have a great big stamp like that, you tend to not have a complete transfer. There's some blotchiness, some parts that didn't get inked. And when you have it on the Stamparatus, you can go right back to it and ink your image up. I just would, you kind of tap it over like that, and you'll have several tries. So if you don't get it all in the first try, you can always ink it back and then stamp it again so that you can get a nice, clean, crisp image. And then you're going to be able to take your die and go through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and you're going to have 6 beautiful butterfly images. And when I was doing swaps, I was, like I said, I was making this card, and I was using just one of the butterflies, so I cut a bunch of these out. And I wanted to, I think this piece is 5 by 6 1/4. Gave me plenty of room, so almost a half sheet of paper, but not quite. But when I did my swaps, I stamped and cut a ton of these out, and then saved all these extra ones that I could use later. And it's made it so much fun, because I'm just like, okay, I want this one, color it in, add it to a card. All right, I want this great big one, color it in, add it to a card. So I would highly recommend just going in and stamping a bunch of them. Oh, here's one I was trying to do a half a one, just to see what it would look like on the edge of a sentiment. So lots of fun. Here's a couple of the little ones too. Anyway, you get the idea. Stamp a bunch of them at a time, and you'll have so many ready to go. All right. So I'm going to take this off and show you that the other way that you can do it, again, depending on the project, is to put it on one of the great big blocks. This is the, what is it, the F block, and mine needs cleaned really badly, but you can add that to it, and that will work as well. And a lot of times I will ink it up like this instead of on, you'll have more control over your ink pad, even if it's one of the large classic pads. And then I will also a lot of times put my paper over the top, just lay it down, and then burnish it. That way I know I'm going to get a nice transfer of ink. So those are a couple of different tips for using that. Okay, so I have my my die cut that I've already done, and I want to color that in with some Stampin' Blends. Butterflies are so much fun to color because there are so many different colors you can use, and it really is something that brings your card together. You can use all kinds of different colors, and then your butterfly can bring all of the images or all the different layers together with whatever color palette you choose. So I'm putting dark Bermuda Bay on this, and I'm just doing a little bit of color right over some of the darker areas. And then I'm going to add in, actually I'm going to add a little bit of color here. Whoops. Next, I'm going to add some mint macaron. In some of these parts. I think I'm going to leave some white just because we have some white in our card, so I think that would be nice. You don't have to color in every little part. I'm going to color the center in with some gray granite. Just give the butterfly body a little bit of dark tone. And then I'm going to finish up with some dark, soft Seafoam. And I'm just going to color over almost the whole thing. I'm going to add a little bit to the edge, but I am going to keep that white right there on the edge. So I have one little strip of white. Okay. And again, you can have so many, you can do a lot more blending than I've done, but I just wanted to get some color on there. So there's our butterfly. I actually might do just a little bit of just a little bit more blending there. All right, and then I'm going to finish up with some Wink of Stella, because you know you have to have a little bit of iridescence on the wings of your beautiful butterfly. So another tip I want to give you while I'm doing some coloring here is, and I've mentioned this before, with the basic white paper, we used to have Whisper White, and the basic white is just a little bit different, and I like to give you a heads up about using, when you're coloring with Stampin' Blends, you want to definitely use the Memento black ink and get your outline image, and then I would wait just a little bit, let it dry thoroughly so that there's no bleeding. When you're doing these great big one stamp ink ups and then you do the die cutting, you'll have plenty of time for this to dry beautifully. But if you're just doing one image, it's something to think about, that you should just, you know, wait a minute or two before you add it, or before you start coloring, so that it doesn't have a lot of bleeding. Okay, let's add that with some dimensionals. And this would look good with any of the butterflies. You could make, I use the big one here, but I will show you one that I made with one that was in the medium size, so you can get an idea that you can use any of them. Just pick and choose, mix and match. You guys know I like to mix and match. So I'm gonna add this guy here, and then we'll add a little sentiment at the bottom. Now, because this is a one stamp set, there's no sentiments. So one thing to keep in mind is you can use anything. You can use any sentiment that you want to from any stamp set and make it your own. I wanted to kind of narrow it down, so I chose two that I love that have a lot of different sentiments involved, and those are Happy Thoughts and Art Gallery. I love the size and all the different all occasion sentiments in Art Gallery. That's a really great one. And this is one that we're going to be doing a class on in the future too, so you'll be able to use that for an upcoming class. So I'm going to use from the Art Gallery stamp set a little sentiment that just says, I'm thinking of you. And I'm stamping that on a 3/8 inch by 2 3/4 inch piece of basic white. I'm going to banner cut the edge here. So I go up the center and then corner to center. And then I'm just going to add a tiny bit of adhesive, and I'm going to pop that up right over the butterfly like this. So there's our first card. And let me show you another, whoops, I forgot. You have to have an embellishment, right? Oh my goodness. And then what did I do with it? Oh, here they are. They're stuck to the side. I want to put some black matte dots here. I'm going to add one that's a little bit larger, and then one that's smaller. Yeah, you have to have the embellishment. That just makes the card. Okay, so here's the first card. Let me show you another size. This one, I use one of the medium size butterflies, and then I can just move that sentiment down a little bit. So that looks just as good to me. And then let me show you another Too Cool version. I showed you how you can die cut from the Butterfly Bijou paper. So I used the large butterfly from there and used some of the other Butterfly Bijou patterns. Brought the sentiment down here, added some champagne rhinestones, kind of changed the layout just a little bit, but that is a different way that you can use the same elements. And it is so fast when you just cut out a bunch of these pre-printed ones. They just go right on there. You don't have to do any coloring. So fast. All right, let's go on to our next card. This one we're starting with Mango Melody. And I'm going to put this paper piercing mat underneath so that I have a nice surface here, because I'm going to stamp off of the paper just a little bit. So here's a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white, and we're going to stamp this entire piece. We're inking it up with some Mango Melody right now. Get that good and inked up. And I'm going to stamp that. And I'm pressing a lot in the center just so we can get a nice clean transfer. Again, I'm using that piercing mat underneath. That helps to give it a little bit of cushion so that you're going to get a nice ink transfer. Isn't that beautiful? Now I'm going to do one more thing, and that is I'm going to stamp on another piece. And I should have moved it down just a tiny bit, but you can see that I just have just a little bit of a stamped off version there. I can probably put some paper if I wanted to there, but I can use this for the inside of my card. So that's an idea that you can use. Now for the outside, let's finish this part up. I have a little strip here of basic white. It's 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and it's textured already with the Tasteful Textile embossing folder. And we'll add that about right here. Whoops, I have it too long. I have it at 5 1/2. That's the second time we had to cut something off. That's okay. We'll add that to our card front. And then, although it doesn't match perfectly, which I like, I do think that the Bumblebee gingham ribbon looks really great with this Mango Melody. So, and I love it with the butterflies. So I'm going to wrap that around the card front and tie that into a double knot. And we'll just trim that off. I'm going to pull this down a little bit. There we go. And then I have another Stitched Shapes die cut here, this time in a circle. And I'm going to stamp that with a sentiment from Happy Thoughts. Again, you can use any sentiment that you like. We don't have any sentiment in the actual kit or in the actual stamp set, but you can use anything you already have. And I really like the Happy Thoughts and Art Gallery. So we'll pop this up with some dimensionals onto our card front. And we'll add it to our card right here. Now again, I did all those pre-stamping and die cutting. So really quickly, I'm going to color this little tiny butterfly. This is like the second to smallest. I'm adding a little bit of dark Calypso Coral and again some gray granite for the body. We'll add some Mango Melody. And I'm using all dark of all of these, and this is the Daffodil Delight. So lots of oranges and yellows on this one. You could leave some white if you wanted to, that would be really pretty. Of course, you need a little wink of Stella, a little bit of shimmer over the whole thing. And we're just going to add that with a little bit of Stampin' Seal right onto our circle. And then we have some Artistry Blooms sequins here. So I'm going to add a few of those. They match perfectly. I'm going to add a couple up here. Got a little piece of adhesive there. And then another one down here. So this is our second card. Really simple, really easy. And I love how that turned out. One of the swaps that I received after I made this one, it kind of reminded me of the same kind of a style. This is made with a basic white thick background card base. Then we have mint macaron for the background that was stamped with that Butterfly Brilliance stamp. This is made by Janice Wakelin. She used that same stitched shapes oval or circle, and the sentiment is from Hydrangea Haven, I believe. A little bit of the white crinkle seam binding ribbon, some pearls, and then of course the pre-printed butterfly from the Butterfly Bijou. So really quick and easy. So those are two fun ideas. All right, next. This next one is super fast as well. This starts with Melon Mambo. We're going to have a Melon Mambo layer that is 4 by 5 1/4, and this has been embossed with the subtle embossing folder. So you can see that beautiful subtle texture. It's one of my favorites. It's a classic. It's a must-have for your collection. All right, next I have a piece of 3 by 3 Bijou paper, Butterfly Bijou, and I'm gonna layer that onto a black mat, and the mat is 3 by 1/8 square. All right, and then I'm gonna also add another little layer just for a little pop of color. I have a 1 3/4 by, or 2 by 3 3/4. And actually I want to put this on here first, so let me add a little bit of seal to the middle. I'm going to line that up so we just have a couple of little peaks coming out from the top and bottom, and then we'll add a little more seal and add that to the card front. Some pretty layering. I have a Tasteful Labels die cut here from Basic White. I love that shape, really pretty. We're going to pop that up with some dimensionals. And there's not a whole lot of stamping on this one, just a sentiment. But it's going to show you the beautiful die cuts that we have from the Brilliant Wings dies. So I've already cut a couple of those out. One is in Calypso Coral, and the other one is in Melon Mambo. And they're very intricate. I did have to run them through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine twice. So I just ran it through and backed it right out, and then it worked really well. I'm going to add that to my label here with just a couple of glue dots. So I'll add this one up at the top, and I'm just putting it right in the center, right where there's the most cardstock. You only need one. And then we'll add a sentiment. I already have a little strip here, a 3/8 inch wide by, I would say, about 2 3/4 inch long. And I'm going to put a happy birthday. And this is another sentiment from the art gallery stamp set. So just like the other one, we're going to do a little banner cut on the ends. Very similar. And again, just a little bit of adhesive, and we'll add that right across the middle. And then we need to give a little sparkle to those butterflies, I think. So I have some rhinestone jewels here. And I'm going to put a large one, I think. Large. These are champagne rhinestones. And then a medium one here. And there is our third card. I love that look. It's kind of simple, but it's very colorful, very, very pretty. So that is going to be our third card for our class. And let me show you a Too Cool version. I love this one as well. Of course, I love blues and greens and purples, so I love this Highland Heather card base. I used the Tasteful Textile embossing folder on some white for the background, a little bit of mint macaron for peeking out of the square, and then a different Butterfly Bijou paper, Bermuda Bay, Gorgeous Grape, Purple Posy, and then just regular rhinestones for a little bit of sparkle. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to put in in the class kit because I love them both so much. I just really love those die cuts, and I love the colors on both of them. I hope you guys do too. Okay, the next card is super fun, and it's an interactive card, so I hope you guys love it. It's one I've seen many times when butterflies are involved, and I thought this stamp set and this collection was absolutely perfect for it. So I'm starting out with Calypso Coral, and again, I'm going to be inking up this great big stamp. If I can find my, here we go. Find my Calypso Coral. Now let me give you a tip again. You can use, to clean this up, I used a lighter color before, so I'm not going to worry too much about putting Calypso Coral over the top of it because it's a very similar color. But if you're going to be switching colors, you know, certainly you can use the Simply Chamois if you want to. It's a little bit cumbersome. And what I really like to do that is so super quick and easy is just take it over to my sink and run it under tap water. And the color just runs right off of it. Pat it dry with a towel, and you're good to go. I just feel like that, for me, that's the easiest way to clean them. That way you're not getting so much ink all over your Simply Chamois. So I'm just gonna ink this up with some Calypso Coral. Make sure I have that nice and inked up in the center. Okay, now I'm gonna add, I have my paper piercing mat at an angle here, so pardon me as I kind of do it sideways, but I just want to have that whole pattern on the background here. Isn't that beautiful? I just absolutely love that. And then again, like we did with the other one, maybe this will work out a little bit better. You can have, I might stamp it off one more time actually, because it's still pretty dark, but you can stamp it a third time onto your inside. Whoops, see how it doesn't, if you don't push hard enough? We'll see if it will work again. Probably not. All right, but that gives you a lighter look that you can put right on the inside of your card. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Gives you a fun coordinating image that's light enough that you can still write on it. Okay, so for this one, we're going to add a little strip of the Butterfly Bijou. This is just a 1-inch strip by 4 1/4. We'll add that right along the edge here. And actually, whoop, before I put that down, hold it right there. I want to stamp a sentiment on a piece of the natural wood paper. And I've found that if you stamp on it, it's kind of hard to stamp on the wood grain part. So I'm going to stamp on this other side and use that. I'm going to stamp with my Happy Birthday from the art gallery stamp set. All right, so we'll stamp that. We're going to add that to the bottom. And basically, I was really liking the color. It's kind of a unique color. And whoops. And so I wanted to try it. All right, now we can add this strip over here. Number 3. I can't get anything cut right, apparently. Just a little bit overhang there. We'll cut that off. All right, now here's the fun part. We're going to take the classic label punch. And I will already have these punched out of your cards. So you just need to stamp over it and add your paper. Then we're going to add a little piece here that is a 1 by 4. We're going to add that to the center of your card, the inside of your card, so that it's going to cover up that white. So you can see kind of how to center it by looking at where that punch is. Okay, so now that makes it a little less conspicuous there. Now we're going to add a butterfly. And again, I have another one of those butterflies that I've already pre-stamped and pre-cut out, and I'm going to add some Calypso Coral like I did to the previous. Just a little hint of color right along the edge. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Also some dark flirty flamingo. It's just so much fun to play with the different colors and see how they blend together. We're going to use the light basic black. This time we're going to make that butterfly body a little bit darker than we have in the past. And then we'll finish it up with some light pumpkin pie, which really matches that color of the Natural Touch paper. Petal pink also looks really good. It's just a little bit different, a little bit more pink. I like using the brush tip end because it's going to really lay down color. Then one thing about it is if you're going to do a lot of coloring, a lot of different butterflies, you are going to find that it's hard on your brush tip end. It's going to get, I don't know if you can see that it gets a little bit curved and it starts to split a little bit. So be careful of that. Okay, of course you'd want to put some Wink of Stella on there. And then you're going to just fold this in half. We're going to get some glue dots. And we're going to put 3 glue dots on right on that center fold. Whoops. One more. And then you're just going to center that top to bottom. Put the glue dots right in the middle of that opening from the punch. And then you have this really pretty card, and you open it and the butterfly is on the inside. I love that. I've made one of these before with a different kind of butterfly, but these butterflies are perfect. This medium size just works perfect with that. We're going to finish up with a couple of Artistry Blooms sequins here. For a little bit of sparkle. And of course you're going to have the Wink of Stella. Here's one I've already done with the Wink of Stella. So you can see that beautiful shimmer, and I love how that opens up. So, so pretty. So this is the one that will be in your card kit. And then let me show you another version. I had to do one in the blues and the greens, the teals. This one is with Night of Navy, stamped with Night of Navy in the background. Pool Party, stamped with Night of Navy. And then another little strip here of the Bijou. And of course that beautiful butterfly and some artistry sequins that match in the Pool Party. And then there's the inside. And of course I stamped off in the Pool Party again. And I just because it's a running joke now, I have a little one sticking out here. We'll fix that right up. So there you go. That is the fourth card. And this is the one that will be in your kit. All right, one more. And this one's also really, really cute. And I did not come up with this idea. Ruth Bingle, let me make sure. I think it's Ruth. No, Deb Snyder. Sorry, Deb. Deb Snyder sent me a swap card, and I cased it in a different color combination, and I absolutely, it's so, so cute. So let me show you. This is Misty Moonlight, and it's just a quarter sheet. So just a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 quarter sheet. We're gonna add a piece of Just Jade. This one is, let's see, 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And we'll just add that to the base. And then the card front is so cool, you guys. So she took a 3 3/4 by 10-inch piece of basic white and scored it at the 5-inch mark. Then she used that brick, can you see it? That brick die from the Brilliant Wings die to make a little cutout right here on the bottom, on the inside of the card. And then the top of the card, she used the brick and mortar embossing folder. So you can just keep it open. When you have it open, put your die on. I just ran it through and then cranked it right back out. I didn't roll it all the way through. And then for this side, I lined that embossing folder. I was going to bring it over and show you, but you line it up right at that score mark and make sure that you have it the right way so that you have the bricks embossed and not debossed, although I guess you can always change your which direction you fold it. But yeah, once you have that lined up, and then you just run it through, and that makes that cute little card. So let's put this card base down, and then that Just Jade is going to show through your card base. I love that. Such a fun idea. Deb Snyder always has fun ideas. Whoops, this is just a little bit off. Hold on one second. I didn't fold it quite right. There we go. Now it's looking better. All right, so now when you open it up, you can see that really pretty brick texture that matches so well. I love that. All right, now that I have this down, I have to fold this a little bit better. There we go. It was a little bit crooked, but you can always fix it. All right, let's decorate. So this one, I used the Stitch Shapes dies to cut out another piece of the Butterfly Bijou paper. I also have a little piece here, a 1.5 by, I think 2 3/4, I think again. Oh, this isn't the right piece. That's okay, we'll make it work. This is supposed to be a longer piece, and I picked the wrong one up, I think. So I'm gonna cut this in half, and we're gonna make do. You're gonna get the right size piece. So let's just put a little bit of adhesive here on the back. And we're gonna pretend like this piece is one big long piece. So it will be behind this piece like this. All right, that's gonna go directly on your card. Like so. Let's put it over here just a tiny bit. All right, next I have another little piece here that is the Stitch Shapes dies again. Let's get our code up here again. And this is in Pool Party, and I'm gonna stamp that with some Memento Black, if I can find it. Here we go. And also another sentiment from the Art Gallery stamp set. So here is this, and then I'm gonna pop this up with some dimensionals. This is just a kind of a fun little collage type of card. And the other thing I want to do, which I should have done ahead of time, is you want to actually, before you put your dimensionals on, I'm doing everything backwards today. Before I put dimensionals on, you want to put some seal on there and take some of this Misty Moonlight twill ribbon and add it to the back. So I'm trying to go around my dimensionals, but you wouldn't have that problem if you had your seal on there first. Then add your dimensionals. Then you can add this right to your card. And then I have one of our pre-printed die cuts. And on your card, you're either gonna have this one or the one I'm gonna show you. So it's either gonna be this cute little kind of pinkish one, or this one with the yellows and oranges. And then we're gonna finish up with some of the in color enamel dots in the Just Jade. So I'll just add a couple of these, and there we go. So you'll get one or the other, it'll just be one of the pre-printed butterflies, but so, so cute. Thank you, Deb Snyder, for showing us that cool project. Let me show you Deb's, because hers is much better than mine. I love hers. And the beautiful So Saffron with Just Jade, the same background. She has a little bit different placement than mine. And then she did some white embossing, and I love how she did some layering. So she has a So Saffron solid. You don't need to just use those dies for cutting out pre-printed things or pre-stamped things. You could use them as a background for the pretty intricate dies as well. And then she has that white intricate die with a little rhinestone and the Just Jade twill ribbon. And then she actually did she cut out the background of that Just Jade so that the So Saffron would come through. So really fun card, Deb. I really appreciate you sending that. So those are the two cool versions. All right. So let's wrap it up for today. Let me show you all the different cards you're going to get in your 5-card class kit. You're going to get this fun interactive card, the brick card, this magenta, or it's actually Melon Mambo, and those first two cards that we did. So here are all of the cards that you'll get in your kit. You're going to have all the parts and pieces that you need. Remember, I don't do stamping for you, so you're gonna need, I'm just gonna give you one big piece of basic white so that you can stamp your butterflies on here. Then you'll have butterflies for each of the ones that you have to color, plus a couple additional. But that way, but that's what that great big piece is going to be for. And everything else is going to be die cut, already pre-embossed, ready to go. You just add the stamps, the Brilliant butterfly stamps, the any sentiments that you want. You can use any sentiments. I use sentiments from Happy Thoughts and Art Gallery, and then of course the inks and adhesives. You'll need to provide those, but everything else will be in the kit ready to go. And you can get that kit for free when you place a $35 order. Let me make sure that's coming up there. $35 order. You can go to toocoolstamping.com. Just click on the Shop Now link and place your order. That minimum order, you need to use the host code. Don't forget, I've had a lot of people that have told me they've used the host code, but I think they're not hitting the apply button. So remember to hit the apply button and use the host code WCVYGKK7. That's going to get you that 5-card class kit. Now, this for this week and next is when this is going to be available. The offer lasts until March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. And you can also, with a $100 minimum order, earn a 25-card tutorial for the Butterfly Bouquet Collection. Now that tutorial is going to have all of the cards that you see here. It'll have a written, printable tutorial for all of these with a supply list. Plus, you're going to get tutorials for an additional 20 cards. And these are all going to be cards that either I've put together or cards that are from my swaps. So really, I get some really amazing swaps from my fellow demonstrators. There are a bunch of people who have earned the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip, and they're just some really talented top 100 demonstrators. So you know you're going to get some great cards, and you'll get that 25-card tutorial. If you participated with the Berry Blessings, it'll be very similar to that style. And you'll get that with your $100 order, plus the 5-card kit, so you'll get both. Now next week, I am taking a few days off starting on Thursday. So we're gonna have a live video on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And I will be showing some additional Butterfly Bouquet Collection cards that are from that tutorial. So we won't have a class kit specific to next week. You'll still be able to get this particular class kit along with that tutorial, but I wanted to show you some of the additional cards because they are just amazing. There's so many fun ideas. I hope you guys have loved this class today. I hope you are loving the whole Butterfly Bouquet Collection as much as I am, and I really look forward to seeing what you guys think about it and creating with it. I think you're gonna love it. All right, everybody, I really appreciate you spending some time with me, getting creative, taking time out of your busy day. I love that you're here with me, whether you're here live or watching the replay. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you need a demonstrator, you can always contact me. Again, I'm Angie Leach with Too Cool Stamping, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, we have our schedule change Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We'll do some additional Butterfly Bouquet cards. All right, I'll see you then. Bye-bye.